will send you all the information we're going to talk about this evening, all the dates, all the things you need to do. We will send those to you, so you don't need to worry about trying to scribble them down or remember them all. We've got a PowerPoint which we will share our screen, and we'll be swapping seats with various different people, so please bear with us if there's a bit of stiltedness in between transitions between various bits of our presentation. Okay, so and likewise, if you look on your screen, you should see a little comments box. If you've got any questions throughout the evening, please just type in the comment. Mr. Butterfield, our assistant head, is writing down all your comments, and at the end there will be an opportunity where we'll reply if they're generic. If they're particular to your child, we would ask you to email in the usual way. Okay, so I'm going to pass over now to Sam Palin, who's our executive head. He's going to start off our talk this evening.
Hi everybody, just working out which camera to look at. So welcome to Woodmansterne. We're going to put the PowerPoint up now because it's got some of the information that I'll be talking through with you. So first of all, I just want to clarify why Woodmansterne is such a wonderful school and why your child is very, very lucky to have got a place here, and how excited we are about inviting them here. So the first thing that you're probably aware of is that we started as a very small primary school. We've grown to a full form-entry primary and are now in the latter stages of our growing secondary school. So our secondary opened in September 2017, and we are looking, when your child starts with us in September 21, that will be our first year as a full 7 to 11 school, and in 2022 we will of course be starting our sixth form. Hence the quote there, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. So our pioneers will be year 11 next year, and that will be our first set of GCSE results, and they are the role models for your children coming to us in September. What makes us different as a school is very much what I've already alluded to, that we began as a small primary. So what's really important to us and is central to our ethos is serving this community and delivering an amazing education for the children and families of this community. So the vision is that we deliver for these pupils not just an excellent education, but that our children leave Woodmansterne as confident, happy, articulate and well-rounded individuals. And those key words they were born from the primary parents, the governors and the staff and pupils that initially encouraged and worked with the local authority for this primary school to become an all-through school. They were the things that the staff, the pupils, the families said were important, that it wasn't just about results, that it was about their child being confident, their child being happy in their learning. And I think, if nothing else, this last 2 years of a pandemic has taught us that school is much more than a place where students come to learn stuff. So that said, I also want to assure you that we have exceptionally high expectations at Woodmansterne. That begins with academic achievement. That is our bread and butter. We expect our students to have high aspirations, and we expect them to be resilient in their learning and to take knockbacks. And they've had a fair few, as we all have this past couple of years, and we very much support them in dealing with that. As well as that, we expect them to have respect for their school and their self, and to model that through their standards of behaviour and appearance. And as we are now very much a full school, we have role models for the future. So our older pupils, our Key Stage 4 pupils, model to our younger pupils, and they will to your children, what we expect of pupils at Woodmansterne. That is how we demonstrate our values of unity, cooperation and respect. And finally, the other thing that makes us very different is right from the beginning, one of the things that we learnt and witnessed in primary is how learning continues beyond the classroom, and enrichment is key to your sons and daughters really enjoying their education. We've struggled with that during the pandemic, but we very much look for every opportunity to take learning outside of the classroom, and that is our Woodmansterne pledge to our pupils when they start with us. So I'm sorry that we're not doing this face to face and that you're not seeing more of the school and some evidence of this in the very fabric of our building. And we very much look forward to September, to meeting some of you at the school gate, and of course to welcoming your children to the school. I'm going to hand you over now to Marina Saw, and she's going to talk to you about curriculum.
Hi everyone. So I suspect some of you, particularly the pupils sitting in, might be feeling a little bit nervous or a little bit worried, a little bit excited, perhaps. That's perfectly normal and what we would expect you to be feeling. And so I just want to talk to you a little bit about what to expect in terms of your kind of day-to-day and what your learning will look like. We've had a really lovely time setting up Teams meetings with all of the children coming to us. We're not quite through with all of them because we've got 150 children to meet and say hello to, but we're certainly way more than halfway through. So if you haven't had one of us having a conversation with you yet, you will have. Please don't worry, that will happen. Obviously, normally we'd come and visit you in your schools. We haven't been able to do that, so we've done that via Teams meetings. And that's just one of the ways that we started to get to know your children. So we've interviewed them. We've spoken to the primary schools and your year 6 teachers and found out a little bit about the pupils that way. So we've got it from the pupils' own mouths, from the schools, and the last thing is from you as the parents, and you will have been asked to fill in an admission form. It's an online form, and the deadline for that form is today. So if you've not done it, if you've got any difficulty, please contact the school tomorrow and let us know so we can get that information. Once we've got all that information in, which is why it's quite key we get it in quickly, we then organise the children into 6 tutor groups. And each year we have a theme. This year the theme is creators. So you can see there the names of the 6 tutor groups for year 7. And you will find out which of those groups you're in when you come to our taster day, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So you'll be put into 6 tutor groups, and in your tutor groups is where you'll have most of your lessons. You'll have your own classroom, and we hope when you come in the taster day that you'll go into the classroom you'll be in September, and you'll meet your tutor, who will be one of the most important people who you see every morning and every afternoon. Just to give you an idea of what your timetable might look like, you're going to study 10 different subjects. So you have 4 hours a week of maths, English, science and humanities is history, geography and RS. Then you'll have 2 hours per week of PE, ADT, which is art, design and technology. So that might be food or cooking, or it might be textiles, or it might be more sort of traditional art, or you might be using our 3D printer or doing some clay works. That's art, design, technology. And then you have 2 hours a week of a language. That language will either be French or it will be Spanish. And this is why, mums and dads, it's really important that you get your admission form into us, because one of the questions on that form is, does your child want to do French or Spanish, or don't they mind? And we are going to start organising those classes the end of this week. So if we've not had your form back, we are going to make the assumption that your child doesn't mind which of those languages they study. So please, can you help us by getting those forms in? And then you have 1 hour a week of music, 1 of drama and 1 of computing. And I'm sure you're all sitting there adding it up, and we'll see that is your 25 hours of lessons a week. On that timetable there, the bits that are shaded in blue are the bits where you will stay in your classrooms. So one of the things that a lot of children have said, as I've spoken to them, one of the things they worry about is getting lost. So one of the things that we do for year 7 is we keep them in one room for most of their subjects. They will go to the specialist rooms for things like science and computing, PE and art, where they need specialist equipment. So that's just an idea of what your kind of day-to-day might be like. Tomorrow, you'll get an email and it will have a link to the video of this talk, and it will have a kind of like to-do list, like dates and to-dos that you need to do before you start. And it will also have something called the Woody Welcome Pack. And in that pack, you can see the cover of it there. It tells you everything you need to know. It tells you about home learning, about uniform, about school lunches, about every aspect of the school, about houses. It's got pictures of all your teachers in it. So that will be quite a helpful thing, and that will also be up on the website from tomorrow. So that will come through to you, which will have a lot of the information that's in this talk as well. Okay, now, the next person to talk to you is Miss McCarthy, our deputy head teacher. Now, she has pre-recorded her talk because she was about to lose her voice, I think, at the weekend. She is actually here online. So please bear with me because I'm going to play the video of her talk, and it might take a bit of fiddling around.
Children or adults in their new school community. And I do with good evening to our soon-to-be Woody families. I want to begin my part of this transition evening by reassuring those families amongst you who've never gone through this transition phase between primary and secondary before, that although you don't have experience of having done this in the past, we certainly do, and between us there is a wealth of experience. Relationships here at Woodmanston are based on mutual respect and consistency. We refer to this when we're talking to children and our staff as the Woody Way. There are big changes ahead for our children when they are moving from primary to secondary school. One of those big changes is to do with meeting new faces, whether that be children or adults in their new school community. And I want to let you know that there are some great things that our tutors do with our new Year 7 children on their first day. They do what we call icebreaker activities, and those activities are designed to help the children to relax and help them get to know the new people who are in their tutor group, as well as the adults whom they're working with. In terms of extended support for the children, if there's anything that they're finding a little bit tricky, then we have a really experienced and skillful pastoral team that are able to support them with friendships and things that they're finding tricky about settling in. In terms of meeting new faces and new teachers too, there are some very simple behaviour management techniques that every teacher in the school uses and every member of support staff uses. And these behaviour management techniques help the children to feel safe because they know what it is that they have to do in order to do the right thing. An example of that I'm going to show you now. In September, we train all our new teachers that if you want to get everybody's attention, all you do is raise your hand. Every child in the room raises their hand and stops talking, stops what they're doing. And that gives you, as the teacher, a way to maybe share an important health and safety note if you're in a science laboratory and it's the next step of your experiment, or to share a fantastic answer in other classroom scenarios that you want everybody to listen to. We don't shout, we raise our hands, the children copy. We are able to talk to the children before they arrive and when they arrive about some of the new things to do with adjustment that they often worry unnecessarily about. But those things that we find year after year that children are concerned about are things to do with home learning and things to do with forgetting a rule or all the rules. So I want to remind all of our new families this evening that there are things that we do to support this new home learning regime. So the home learning is set by most but not all subjects at Key Stage 3. It's set at least once a week, but the children are supported with that because after school every day there is something that's called Study Club, which is a safe space that the children can go to with access to computers and access to support staff who've been in many of those lessons with them during the day, who can help them to complete that home learning. In terms of supporting them with the rules, we like to keep things simple. We say, be kind and respectful to one another. We say, work hard, and we say, stay safe. And if you follow those general guidelines, you'll manage to follow our rules. If there is time where you get something wrong, we make sure that the children know about our fix-it culture, as we call it. So if I am 3 minutes late for school one day, I will get a reflection point, and in my reflection time that afternoon with my tutor, I get time to sit down with an adult and work out what I need to do to fix that problem so that it doesn't happen again. And we would work backwards with a child and say, you were 3 minutes late today, so what time do you need to leave your house tomorrow? What time does that mean you have to get up? So that we don't repeat that same problem the next day. And finally, I want to just explain to you that in terms of supporting your child's transition, one of the things that we have learned over our years of doing this is that the quality of information that comes with a child to a new school is so important. We get data information about your child from their primary school, and we get information about what they're good at and about what they may need some additional support with. But the real expert is your child. And one of the key things that we do every year is to make sure that we have a meeting with the children to learn more about them from them. You'll be aware that we've been having Teams meetings over the last few weeks with children and their class teachers in primary, and we may even have contacted you at home in order to speak to go to great efforts in September to make sure that we get to know every individual child. The teachers use seating plans with every class, which means that we get to know their names very quickly. We get to know who it is that might need a bit of additional support in one subject and who it is that needs additional or more challenging work to keep those great minds buzzing. We also have senior staff and support staff on duty every day, along with teachers at break times and lunch times. And that's another way for us to get to know your children from very early on. The Woody Way is something that staff and children and parents come to really appreciate and value. It means we get the very best outcomes from all of our children, because it helps everybody to feel respected and valued in our school community. I'm really looking forward to meeting all of the children and slowly but surely meeting the parents. Have a great summer, and don't worry, we have it all in hand. We look forward to seeing you on Taster Days and in September. Thank you very much indeed.
Right, give me a minute. Okay, I appreciate, we've seen your comments that some of the sound on that wasn't brilliant. We will send it out as a separate video. so that you will can be able to watch that at your leisure, and we'll put a link to it on our website as well. There's also been a few comments about the form I mentioned. So it would have come to you by email, and it would have come to you from an organisation called Admissions Plus, not from Woodmansterne. If you've got any problem at all, please don't panic or worry. If you just email the office at Woodmansterne, and we will get back to you and help you to sort it out. So please don't worry if you've had any problems at all, but you do need to let us know. So if you haven't filled in that form from Admissions Plus, you need to contact the school tomorrow to make sure that we've got the correct email address for you. Okay, I'm going to pass over now to Mr. Moshe, and he's going to talk a little bit more about the enrichment opportunities that we have. So that learning outside of the classroom that Miss Palin spoke about at the beginning.
Good evening, Year 6 parents and pupils as well. As Ms. Nassor mentioned, my name is Mr. Mishmarani, and I am the Assistant Head in charge of community at Woodmansterne Secondary School. And I want to talk to you a little bit this evening about enrichment, something that we really value here, and we see it as a responsibility to us as a school to make sure that we have a really robust enrichment programme in place, but we also see it as a responsibility of students to involve themselves in making the most of those opportunities. We very much see the holistic development of pupils as vital in helping them achieve whilst they're here at Woodmansterne. So to that end, we have a number of things in place which support your son or daughter. We have a really comprehensive PSHE programme, which is personal, social, health and economic education, which incorporates careers education as part of our 7-year plan for personal development. This often includes interaction with outside speakers, either industry professionals or employers, or sometimes people that work in particular sectors, as well as workshops that encourage pupils to explore pathways and social issues. And that's something we've been able to maintain despite the restrictions this year. We've got fantastic links in our community and across London. And that includes, I should say as well, further education establishments, places like Oxford and Kingston. We put a huge emphasis on student leadership within our school. Through things like school council, prefects and house captains, we're able to achieve much more as a result of the input of student voice. Student leaders are really high profile, and they work to make sure that student voice is active in our school and decisions that are made for them. School Council have had some recent successes in organising a celebration event in Year 7 and in Year 8, as well as a cultural day in Year 9, which has been completely organised by them. As well as that, they proposed some uniform changes which have been agreed by the leadership team. So we very much listen to them and make sure they're an active part of the changes and decisions that we make on a regular basis. They help us to evaluate our school. So again, we would ask all students joining in Year 7 to look out for those leadership roles and try to contribute to our wider community. And finally, something that I know a lot of Year 6 students will be really excited about, because I've spoken to some recently, and that is our enrichment clubs. Clubs are really popular at Woodmansterne Secondary School, and we've maintained wide-ranging and inclusive enrichment programmes which are really popular, and we make the most of our facilities, whether they be PE, music, creative, ICT. Our staff are really willing and able to provide excellent enrichment opportunities for all of our students, and that's right the way through to what we eventually plan as being our sixth form. Every year, with that in mind, as our staff body grows, so does our provision for clubs. So we make sure that our clubs cater to all ages, but also all preferences as well. So all of these things we see as essential to a successful journey at Woodmansterne, and we look forward to welcoming the Year 6s that are here tonight to that part of our fantastic programme. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm now going to introduce you to somebody who is going to be vitally important to the Year 6 pupils and their parents, and that's Hannah Emmington-Thomas, who is the head of Year 7. So you're going to get to know her very well indeed, and she's just going to talk a little bit about some of the next steps following this evening.
Hi, good evening. I hope you're all well. So as Marie Nassau just mentioned, I'm Hannah Emmington-Thomas, so I'm the head of Year 7. As we talk through a few of the key dates that are going to be really important over the next month or so. So firstly, we need to be very aware of the school tours that are coming up on the 14th, 15th and 16th of June. Now, as much as we would love to have all of you come and see us, it's really important that these are booked in via the office. So if you've not had a chance to book one in yet, please call the office tomorrow and get one booked in. Obviously, due to the COVID restrictions that are still in place, unfortunately, we've got to limit it at the moment to just having one adult come with each child. Along with that, we're going to ask that please no push chairs, and with the restrictions in place, we're going to ask that face masks are being worn as you move around the school as well, please. The second date that is going to be really important, and on a personal note, is the date that I'm most excited for, is your taster day on the 29th of June from 9:30 till 2:30, which is going to be a really exciting day to have the students come in and fully experience what it's like to have a day at Woodmanston Secondary School, getting used to moving around the school, and most excitingly, get a chance to meet your form tutor, who's going to be really important, and also see some of the people that are going to be in your class with you as you move through the next few years at school. The third date that we're looking at now, which is a really exciting opportunity for this year, that we are running a summer school for Year 6 students that are joining us in September. This will be running from the week beginning the 23rd of August. And what is most lovely about this is it's actually a free summer school, so it's a chance to get a little bit more experience at the school. But again, it's really, really important that this one is booked. So if you've not booked a place yet, please make sure it's booked before the 14th of June. It's really important that one's booked in. I'm really excited to meet you all. Sure, I'll have many a chat with lots of you. Talk soon.
Okay, so that's really the end of the formal part of our talk. It's really difficult because we know you want to know a lot, but we also know it's information overload quite often. So I just want to remind you, everything that we've said will be emailed out to you tomorrow, including the pack, including how to book a tour, including how to book onto summer school, how to let us know that you're coming to the taster day. Everything will come out tomorrow. So Mr. Butterfield is next door monitoring comments. So I'm just gonna wait and see whether he comes in with any particular questions or any general questions. But I just want to. Oh, go on.
Oh, hi everyone. Only one actually missed. So there's just one quick question around summer school, and that is asking if a pupil is not able to commit to all 5 days, they've got some commitments on during that week, is it still possible for them to sign up?
Yes, it is. If you just book on as normal, and at the moment we're just trying to get numbers, because until we know exactly how many children are intending to come, we can't really work out exactly what it is we're going to do. So 14th of June is the deadline. So even if you can only come a few days, please just book, and then everyone that's booked, we will then contact you and try and find out a little bit more. Try and give you a little bit more information about exactly how it will work.
Great. I can also see a couple of hands have gone up, but it would be easier. I think the way we've set up this meeting doesn't allow much discussion. So if your hand is up, that's because you've got a question. If you're able to pop it into the chat, that'd be really helpful. And then one question about a taster day, about how pupils arrive at Woodmanston, whether that is via school or whether they come directly from their homes.
So they will come directly from their homes, and they'll come in the Woodmanston Road entrance, and we will be there in the playground waiting for them, and parents will leave them in our hands at the gate at 9:30. We've deliberately done it later because we know a lot of people have to drop younger siblings. If that time is difficult, again, please just contact the office. We do our very best to be accommodating. So for the taster day, yes, they would bring a packed lunch to the taster day, and we will provide some, and they wear their primary school uniform on that day. So they come in their primary school uniform. We send a message to the primary schools to let them know that that is our taster day. And then what we normally do is if a child doesn't come on that taster day, we just phone the primary school just to check that somebody knows where those children are, because obviously that they'll be expecting them to be at our school on that day. Okay, I can't see any more general questions. As I said at the beginning, when we've in normal times when we do these live in the hall, what normally happens now is most people go, but a number of parents want to stay behind because they have questions about their particular child, and obviously we can't do that this time. So I just want to remind you that if you email in to office@Woodmansterne, your question will be directed to the right person. If it's quite sensitive information, when you get the pack tomorrow, you will get the email address of Miss Emmington Thomas as your head of year, and of our SendCo, so you can email them directly if it's sensitive information that you want to pass on, but otherwise it's just via the school email.
Thank you. There's one very important question actually, which is a big part of our ethos, which you might want to answer, or I can if not, which is talking about whether we stream at Woodmansterne based on pupils' ability. So it'd be good for everyone to talk about that just before people start.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the reasons we get all that information about your children to put them in those tutor groups is they are mixed ability tutor groups, and we feel really strongly about that. So in year 7 and 8, there's no streaming or setting. They are taught mixed ability for every subject. And we have already started to see the benefit of that. We were part of something called Maths Mastery, which is a kind of national organisation. And when we looked at how our children had done, both our high attaining children, our middle attaining children and our low attaining children were all doing better than other schools nationally, and we think part of that is because they're in mixed attainment groups. Those groups are quite small, and we think that it really gives the children confidence. Basically, when they get to year 9, there is a setting in maths from year 9. But in year 7 and 8, no, it is mixed attainment. And again, that's another thing that when we talk to children, they often feel quite anxious about, really anxious about starting in school and being put straight into a set based on the information that's been given, which is not always complete or accurate. Okay, I think. What were the changes in uniform made by the school council? Okay, so there were 3 changes. The first change was they're allowed a pair of small studs. It was just gold and silver. They've managed to persuade us they may also have clear crystal studs. The second was we didn't allow any henna. They have quite rightly said that for Eid and certain celebrations, it absolutely should be okay, and we agreed with them that for celebrations, children are allowed to wear henna. And the other thing was that we said they had to take their coats off as they come in the building, and they were saying, can we wait till we get to our form room? So easy wins for us, really. They also have asked about looking at the PE uniform and having an additional layer, and we're just talking to the PE department about that. But they were the things so far. Okay, right, I'm gonna just finish off then by reminding you of some key dates. So today is the deadline for the online admissions form. Seems to have gone off it. And as I said, if you don't know what we're talking about, it would have come as an email from something called online admissions. Please contact the office tomorrow and we will make sure that's sent out to you again. But that's quite key. As I said, that's what we're going to use to help us put your children into groups. The 14th of June, so that's next Monday, will be the deadline for booking the summer school, if you're interested in that, and school tours. And again, all the information of how you do that, you will get that tomorrow. And the 29th of June is our taster day, when your children come on their own and get a taste of a day at secondary school. And then, of course, Friday, which is an odd day to start term, but there we are. Friday, the 3rd of September, is the first day that you will be in year 7, and will come around soon enough.
One very quick thing. Oh, sorry, someone's already said it. Someone asked about halal food, and yes, everything in the canteen is halal at all times. So I just wanted a quick one to clear up. Sorry.
we have, when you get the parent pack, please read the information about our school lunches. We are working with chefs in school. They are chefs from some Michelin star restaurants who decided they want to come work in the school, and they do fantastic food, and yes, it is all halal, and it's amazing. If you need to find out more information, the best place to go first is our website. There's a section on secondary, and all the letters we've sent, copies of everything you've got is on the website, so please look there. If you just want to get a feel, Twitter is great, and there's a link to Twitter on the website where our staff and pupils post some of the stuff that they get up to, and that might kind of just give you a bit of a feel for the school. But particular questions, you just email or phone the school office, and somebody will get back to you. It will be passed to the right person. Okay, I've seen here who else is coming to the summer school. So the summer school is just for our new year sixes. So it's only for children who are joining our year seven. So it's just another opportunity for them to get to know each other. Sorry, I'm seeing comments come up. Wraparound care. So we have study club every night, and we have clubs every night. It's quite different in secondary to primary. The clubs in secondary are run by teachers who volunteer their time, and there's something going on every evening. So if there's always somewhere where the children can go if they want to stay a bit later in school.
Yes, they can bring their own packed lunch.
Yes, they can bring their own packed lunch. Yes, they can cycle to and from school. We've got bicycle racks in the school. They're coming. Your questions coming in thick and fast now. Okay. Right, I think we're there. I will stay online for the next 5 minutes or so, answering any questions that come up in the comments box. But please, if you've got no questions, there is no need for you to stay. Thank you very much for joining us and for coping with our few technical hitches. And as I said, you will receive an email with all this information in again tomorrow. And we really look forward to actually seeing your faces rather than staring at a screen. So I wish you a good evening. I'll stay on for another 5 minutes in case there's any questions. But I said, just log out. You have permission to leave. Thank you very much.
Are we allowed to bring phones?
Okay, are they allowed to bring phones? So yes, children may bring phones, but they are collected in every morning by their tutors. They're put in a box, they're locked away by reception, and they get them at the end of the day. So they may bring them, but we look after them. What are some sports clubs? Okay, right, you're going to all have to, everyone here's got to help me. We've got basketball, football, netball, rounders, cricket, tennis,
badminton,
possibly orienteering.
Possibly orienteering. Okay. So that's what we've got. It varies. As I said, it's the school staff that kind of volunteer, so it does kind of vary, and it varies on demand of the pupils as well. Swimming we don't do at the moment because obviously we don't have a swimming pool, so that would involve going off-site. Okay, I'm being asked about summer school and the activities. As I said, we're not completely sure what we're doing because we don't know how many children that we've got, but I am envisaging there will be sporting activities, there'll be some classroom-based activities, probably some art activities, some science experiments going on. We'll probably use our field and our gym and our computer room, and we're hoping we might get out on a day trip as well, but obviously we need to wait and see what the restrictions do, but we would hope to do that.
When we get to year 9, is it only maths that's set then?
So in year 9, yes, it's only maths that's set, and that's the only subject that sets throughout. In most schools, when children get to their GCSE options, they're not set because the kids that choose history do history together. So maths is the only subject at the moment where we do that.
There's one that's an important one around parent-teacher communication. The parents' evenings that we do, but also the fact that we get in touch with parents through a range of ways. But yeah, I wanted you to speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, so we really value parental communication, and I have to say, of all the schools I've worked in, this is the school where I think we do that most. I suspect it's because we have a lot of our parents at primary and they don't get that fear that you sometimes get when you move schools. So the ways you can contact the school are phone and email. At the moment, obviously, we're not quite as open door as we normally are. In normal times, we would you can just come into reception and ask for an appointment to see somebody. We can't always kind of see you. We've got staff on the gate. We have a newsletter that goes out every Friday. And what else? What have I missed?
Woody News.
Woody News, yeah, Woody News every Friday. Twitter, we contact you a lot via Twitter. But I would also say we really value our relationships with parents. So we're always really happy to meet and discuss things with you. So we generally have a really good relationship with our parents. There's always a few at the beginning of year 7 that we see on the gate most mornings, but quite often they're told to stand down the road by the time we're on about day 3. But we are also on the gate every morning and every afternoon. We do have, I don't think it's called parent mail. Somebody's asked about, do we have a parent mail app? It's not, we have something equivalent. So we have a way that we can text and email you. So I don't think it's called parent mail. I think it's a different version, but yes, we do. So how does the school challenge high achievers and support those who need it? One of the ways is that, as I said, we are a 5-form entry school, but we split into 6 classes. So we have an average class size of about 25. It's really, if I'm honest, it's quality first teaching. I think our teachers are very skilled at teaching mixed ability, at making sure that there's challenges and extensions. We're very much into depth rather than breadth. So I'm a maths teacher, for example, so if a child was really flying with something we were doing, we wouldn't move them onto the next topic. We'd kind of go into that topic in more depth and maybe kind of take that topic a bit further, is our ethos. And in terms of support, we have a large one of the largest departments in the school, I think, is our inclusion department. So we have teaching assistants, we have people who specialise in various needs of children. So we have an EAL coordinator, for example, for children who have English as an additional language. We kind of deal with pupils on an individual basis. But as I said, I think when we first started, we got a lot of questions about our choice to go mixed ability, and I think the achievement of the kids at all levels has made us and parents and pupils feel very confident about that, the confidence that the children gain from those groups. Do they learn music? Yes, there's music every week, 1 hour of music a week, and it can be chosen as an option. Do students sign up? So after school clubs are quite different at secondary. Well, there's no kind of sign up because they're free. You're not paying for them, and we're not paying people to come and deliver them, which is what happens often in primary. It's our staff delivering them voluntarily. So and also the children are a bit older, so we expect them to tell you that they've chosen to come to a club. So when in primary you sign up, so you know, because you might be picking the children up. So we try and we encourage children, if they're joined a club, to go to it every week, not dip in and out, particularly if it's a sports club and there's teams involved. But yeah, they just sign up themselves.
There's a question about start and end times.
Start and end times. Now you're asking me a difficult question, because in the current bubble situation we have about 20. We've changed, but it will be back to normal, which means it's very easy to remember. The children need to be through the gate by 8:30 in the morning, and they are dismissed at 3:10 in the afternoon. So it's through the gate by 8:30 and dismissed at 3:10, unless they're in a club. Somebody's asked if you need to wear masks. I really hope not in September, but we will have to wait and see.
Just to clarify on that one as well, that might also refer to in any sort of current visits, etc.
Okay, so for the tours, if you want to book a tour, because we know that you've not had a chance to come in, so if you choose to book a tour, which you do by phoning the school office, yes, the adults need to wear masks, because we as adults have to wear masks in the secondary phase. So the adults would, but the children would not need to, but may if they want to. For the taster day, they will not need to wear masks, but they may if they want to, because that's the situation with the children in the school, that they don't have to wear masks any longer. But if you want to wear a mask, that's absolutely fine, unless you're exempt. Yeah, someone just asked what about face masks. If you're exempt, that's absolutely fine. You don't need to wear a mask if you're exempt. Do you have to buy your own stationery? Yes, you do need to buy, and when you get your Woody welcome pack, in there it tells you what equipment you're given and what equipment you need. So you're given your books that you write in, but we would expect you to bring your pencil case with a pen and a pencil and a ruler and so on. And a lot of that equipment we sell quite cheaply via our parent pay websites, parent pay facility. That's all in the Woody welcome pack, what you need to bring. Okay, I think I'm going to close it down now. Thank you so much for all your comments and contributions, and as I said, we really look forward to seeing you. And if you've got any questions we've not yet answered, please read the pack that you're going to get tomorrow, because a lot of the questions coming through, the answers are in that, and do just email us if you have any further questions. Okay, thank you very much everyone, and have a great rest of your evening. Bye bye.